Hey there, folks. Welcome again to the Nashville LyftZone. I'm your host, DJ Rockwell. It's early Monday morning, so welcome to LyftZone Confessions. We're a day late. Kind of forgot to record it yesterday. But anyway, the week in review. So let's talk about some of the memorable rides we've had here in the past week. On Saturday night, I actually had a passenger that I had on the second night that I was doing this, almost 2 months ago. The first time I took her, she was going to the Ryman Auditorium downtown for a concert, which I think it was a Ringo Starr. I think that was the concert she was going to. But she was a real nice girl. It was kind of in West Nashville. I picked her up at kind of right next to a shopping center, basically across the street. And we had a good little conversation that night. She was on her way down there to meet some friends. Saturday night, I was actually picking or dropping some people off at a hotel that's off right, just basically down the road from where that was. And I was starting to come back, and I got another ride request before I got back on the interstate. Start coming up, and I was like, hey, this looks familiar. 'Cause it's kind of a unique, street. Kind of, I don't know how to really describe it, but it's not really something you're gonna forget. But I pull up and I was like, hey, this, I picked up someone here, a long time ago. And sure enough, it was the same girl. And she gets in the car, and I'm like, hey, you've been in here before. And she's like, I have? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that was probably about 6-7 weeks ago. I picked you up here, and you were going to the Ryman Auditorium to meet some friends for a concert. And she's like, yeah, I thought this car looked a little familiar. And she's like, you were the guy that used to be in Knoxville in the swimming pools, right? And I was like, yep, that's me. So that was really cool, especially now that I'm up here in the 500 some rides total given, starting to get a lot of repeat passengers now, or the same passenger that I've had previously. That's happened multiple times here so far, but the more I do this, seems like the more frequent it is that I start getting the same rides from or the same people. So that was really cool. And then along the same lines, I also had a passenger that I picked up one night a couple of weeks ago. He was a little inebriated that night, but he still had his wits about him. And we ended up telling dirty jokes the whole time, because he got in the car and he's like, man, what's your best dirty joke? And so I told him, then that was a real fun ride. It was a complete riot, because we were just going back and forth telling jokes. But then a couple nights ago, I was parked over on Division Street, which is next to Vanderbilt University, which there's a little bar, popular bar area right there. So I just dropped somebody off there. So just parked there and started waiting for another ride request. And this group of people come up, and this one guy's, like, hey, do you have someone in your car right now? Are you waiting on a ride? And I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting on a ride now. I don't have a passenger right now. Request a ride, you probably get me, since you're standing right next to the car. Then it was two guys and a girl, and this guy was like, man, this is the guy. I can't believe it, I got this guy again. And they get in the car, and I'm like, he's like, have I had you before? Have you been my passenger before? And he's like, yeah, man. It's like a couple weeks ago, we were telling jokes the whole time. And I was like, you're the one where we were telling all the dirty jokes. And he's like, yeah, that was me. So, man, that was... And he's like, man, please tell that joke again, because I can't remember how to tell it. And I want these people, my friends here to hear it. So we told that joke again, and we told more jokes along the way. So... yeah, it was just another riot of a ride, so that was real fun. And it's also been last week's been a real good week for kind of networking and conversing with other Uber and Lyft drivers. Several of them have definitely commented on the tipping headrest covers here that I got from Uberman. Check out my last video on that. They're real interested, like, where'd you get those things? So I've been explaining, how I got these things and where they came from and how much they cost and how much I'm making off them pretty much every week. Tell them about all the cards that they come with and how easy they are to interchange. And I'm really starting to find out that Uber's really got a bad reputation here in Nashville. A lot of passengers just do not like Uber at all. Most of the passengers that I take say I'll never take an Uber again if I don't have to. And drivers too. I was talking to another driver the other day. He said he started driving for Uber like 6 months ago. Now he pretty much exclusively drives for Lyft because he's making better money with Lyft than he did with Uber. Which is kind of surprising considering how much bigger Uber is. But boy, let me tell you, Lyft is majorly pushing hard to grab that market share here, and especially in Nashville. They're losing like $50 million a month right now, and they're throwing all of that, every last dime, and a couple kitchen sinks into the pot to jack up their market share. And I've definitely noticed an effect here, in probably a month now since that whole ad campaign started. There's definitely seems like there's a lot more rides to be had. A lot of first-time riders too get in and say that this is their first Lyft they've ever taken. They've usually taken Uber, so hey, when they get in my car, they're getting first-class treatment. And so they have a good experience, so they're going to keep using Lyft, which creates more business for me and all the other Lyft drivers out there. But yeah, we've got city buses all painted up in Lyft. There's billboards all over town for Lyft. Someone even told me that some of the bars downtown have plastic cups. Like the plastic cups that they serve beer in at bars. They're like white cups with pink Lyft letters or pink with white letters. I don't know which one. I haven't actually seen them with my own eyes. But man, Lyft is really really pushing hard, and I can definitely see that it's working here in Nashville. Yeah, Uber's kind of starting to piss me off because we're coming up on 2 months since I first signed up for them, and I still haven't heard anything back from them about my application. I'm doing just fine with Lyft by itself. So if Uber just wants to let me wow the competition and help Lyft take market share away from them, then hey, that's what I'm going to do. But it would be nice to actually be able to run both apps at the same time, so I can cut down on a little bit of the times when Lyft was slow, because it definitely does get slow from time to time. It can be totally random too. One night it'll be busy as all can be during that hour, and other nights it's dead as a doornail during that hour. So it's some hours are hit and miss. Some are pretty much always guaranteed you're getting a lot of rides. But yeah, like I said, most passengers really seem to prefer Lyft here in Nashville. A lot of the comments that I hear from passengers are drivers are friendlier, they drive safer, the cars are a little bit nicer, cleaner, smell nicer. Lyft drivers like myself, a lot of them are have little candies or a bottle of water, which I highly recommend that you do that. And there's a way you can really do it cost effectively, because I'm spending maybe $5-6 a week on bottled water and little candies, and that's netting me a return of about $50 in tips every week. And the tips, that's another thing too. A lot of passengers really like being able to tip the driver through the app, which that still to this day baffles me why Uber is so against allowing tipping through their app. They're dropping the ball on this, man, because Uber's always been like, hey, we're the cashless, no cash required, but if you want to tip the driver, you got to have cash on you. And a lot of people don't carry cash. I don't really carry cash anymore, haven't really for years. And Lyft is really, Uber says, hey, we're cashless, but they're not really cashless, not if you want to tip the driver. And Lyft is cashless, complete 100%. You don't have to have any cash in your pocket. And passengers really appreciate that. at least having that option available to them. Couple last side notes here to wrap this video up. We did have another encounter with the Popo last night. Was dropping some people off at the Ascend Amphitheater downtown for a Blink 182 was playing a concert there, along with a couple other bands. I don't remember who. But I actually stopped and dropped some. There's a designated pickup and drop-off area for the Ascend Amphitheater, which I didn't know where that was. So I was trying to get them as close to the door as I could. Then they start hopping out, and there was a cop right in front of me. Just on the side of the road, kind of making sure traffic's flowing, nobody's blocking it or anything. And I wasn't really blocking traffic. I kind of pulled off to, there's like a loading dock, and I kind of pulled in there, and he's like, you pulled off onto the sidewalk. And of course I wanted to say, no, this isn't a sidewalk, it's a loading dock. Of course I didn't say anything like that, and I was real friendly, respectful. He asked, how long you been driving for Lyft? And I told him. And he said, have you ever dropped off anyone here at the amphitheater? And I was like, well, yeah, I have, but it's usually a couple of blocks back because the traffic's so bad. So I haven't actually ever dropped off or picked up anyone, right here at the amphitheater. So he was like, okay, I'm not going to give you a citation, but we're going to have a little teaching lesson. And I was, of course, I was like, absolutely, officer, teach away. I'm all about learning things I don't know. So he explained where the pickup and drop-off zones are for the amphitheater, and let me go, and that was all good. So no harm done there. And we did have a car accident, which I did talk about in the previous video from last week, but it was real minor. There's a couple scratches on my rear quarter panel, but I've got ride-sharing insurance with Erie, Erie Insurance Company, ERIE. Everything's going smooth with that. There wasn't a lot of damage, and it was in a driveway of all places, going 3 miles an hour trying to back out of the driveway. Normally I don't drive up into the driveway. I'll drop them off at the the end of it or something like that. But it was real late at night. There was two girls, and it was a pretty long driveway too. So they were in high heels, so I didn't want to make them walk up the hill more or less. So I pulled up into the driveway and dropped them off, and as I was backing out, clipped one of them, there's cars that was parked in the driveway. Just came at it at a bad angle, but it wasn't really that much damage. Like I said, there's a couple scratches on my car, a real small dent in the corner panel, and kind of scraped, put a couple scratches on her driver's side rear door, but it was not too bad, and the insurance is all taking care of all of it, so no harm, no foul there. And we actually had last night, we had which was actually the I believe it was the folks that I was dropping off at the amphitheater. So you know who you are. So those are the people that was in the car when got out right before the cop gave me the teaching lesson or the seminar on where to pick up on at the amphitheater about. They of course asked, do you do anything else besides this? And I was like, well, yeah, I've got a YouTube channel I'm trying to grow. And she's like, oh, I love stuff like that. And so she's a new subscriber. So thank you very much for subscribing. I can't quite remember your name, but thank you anyway. We're glad to have you here in the Nashville LyftZone. And yeah, go back, check out some of the older videos, especially the LyftZone Confession series, which mostly funny stories. There's some really good ones in there. But that's gonna pretty much do it here for this morning. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know, comment below. Links to some of my other favorite YouTube channels for ride sharing are down here in the description, as well as my promo code, which I just created a new promo code, and I'm going to get into that in a quick tip video that I'm about to do. So be sure to check that out about referral codes. But anyway, y'all have a great day. I will talk to you again soon in the Nashville LyftZone. This has been LyftZone Confessions. Ooh la la. So Lyft on, Uber on. Y'all have a great day.